I am thrilled to be sitting with somebody who I think the internet has a major crush over from girls and boys alike because everybody likes just tweaking his cheeks. But hi, Ashwin, how are you? Uh, of course, we are here to sit and discuss your latest song, Naya Jahaan. Firstly, welcome to On VJ's playlist. First things
Thank
first,
you, thank you.
and yeah, this is a chat that's been waiting to happen from some time, but I'm glad that it's finally happened for a song that I think both you and I we have very passionately we have one has sung it while the other one is listening to it right now. So how's the excitement? How what are your initial feelings right now that the song is out there and the few rounds of feedback and audience receptions all
Mhm.
pouring in?
First of all, thank you so much for that sweet intro that you just gave me. And yeah, I'm really excited to be on the show because I've been, like a fan of the show as well. And a lot of people that are my friends, I watch the show quite a lot. So yeah, I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me. And to answer your question, I'm still taking it all in. It's been a month of the song coming out. I'm still taking it all in because this is the first time I've also produced a song myself properly. Also, I've had help from Aman Arak, who's like the co-producer on the song. But to be completely vulnerable and put every emotion that you have into a song, producing it, writing it, composing it, and then have it out in the world, it's a very special feeling. I was pretty nervous before the song coming out, and the response has been pretty overwhelming because like people have actually enjoyed the kind of sound that I was chasing, and what I'm trying to say through the song. And I'm just excited that it's come out and people are enjoying the song as much as they are. So yeah.
It's I think your fourth or fifth year now in making music independently. You started with Mila Hai Jab Se Tu, and uh, there was a lot of raw, uninhibited energy while you made that song. There was, it came from a place of, where it was all unpolished, but brimming with a lot of energy. And now you've traveled so far in your career where you make a song like Naya Jahaan. And of course, there's been Jugnu and Phir Bekavar in between, all amazing songs in their own right. But have you seen yourself, your sensibilities evolve as you worked upon each song? Do you think that not just vocally, but also in the way you write your songs, there has been a considerable shift in and a considerable evolution in how you go about writing a song? Do you think that you have learned from your experiences in between and that's what reflects in your songwriting?
I think it's evolved quite a lot because when I first put out the song Milai Jab Se Tu, it was 2019, and I wrote the song in 2018. And I was like 19, like freshly in college, and in that mindset of the first in infatuation that you have towards someone in school. I was reminiscing my school days while writing the song, and through that from that coming to Naya Jahan, where I'm talking about how the bittersweet stages of a relationship, what they are like, what separation is like, where in the beginning I was talking about how it would be so cool to have someone in my life, and from that to actually having someone in your life and then losing them, and talking about those difficult feelings. I feel like my songwriting evolution has happened in between these 4 5 songs, and I feel I was writing from a point of view of a teenager who had nothing to lose, no responsibilities, was just writing to write. And now, growing up during the pandemic, I saw a lot of things, family, and like I sat down with my family properly and tried to understand what life is actually like with them, and was going through the whole thing, was growing up inside instead of living outside. All of those things happened. I wrote a couple of more songs in between. I feel like I've released a couple of more songs in between. I've written over like, I think I've written over 80 songs in the last 3 to 4 years. I think over 80 songs. So those 80 songs, I think
80.
those 880, yes, 80 songs.
Wow.
Yeah, I write a lot of songs. They just don't come out because, like, some of them are
Of
not,
course.
yeah. So I feel like I found myself. I found my, my way of life, and like what I want to do with my life and what I want to be, and the kind of person that I want to be, the kind of artist I want to be by writing all of those songs. And right now we are at a place where we are far from where we started. So I'm happy about that.
Since you spoke about family, Ashwin, I think one of the questions that more or less figures in almost all of my interviews when I speak to my guests are uh, the importance of parental support, the importance of familial support. Of course, you hailing from a town like Indore, not that I mean, by no means do I mean to imply that, okay, Indore does not have the amenities or anything, but in comparison to the kind of talents we come across from the tier one cities, whether it is Delhi,
Hmm.
Mumbai, Bangalore, or even Pune for that matter, where the scene is a lot more omnipresent, where there's a whole lot of mainstream exposure, immediate mainstream exposure.
Yeah,
In such a scenario, how did you find yourself as a person, firstly, um, reaching that space where you could sit your family down and convince them about what you wanted to do, and secondly, what were your immediate avenues, or what were the immediate outlets that exposed you to this independent music culture?
I used to work with my father at his office. He has a business, so I used to work with him. And like straight out of school, I used to go to college, and then after my college was done, I used to run straight to the office. And slowly and steadily, like, I realized I'm actually not interested in both of these things. I don't want to study, I don't want to work with my father. And it showed in my, attitude, and how I was, working with him, and how sincere I was. So, like, the sincerity kept going down, and he noticed it. And one day he just got super fed up, and he was like, "Kal se mat aana, please. Kal se please mat aa. I'm better off if you are not here. तुम काम करने से ज्यादा बढ़ा रहे हो तो please घर पे रहो." And I was like, okay, I'll just, I'll stay at home, I guess. And that's when I think all of my stars aligned. I started posting a lot on my Instagram. This was 2018. I started posting a lot on my Instagram, and a couple of, cafes in Indore noticed that I was doing it, and I'm from Indore. So they reached out to me and wanted me to do like a they wanted me to become their resident artist and perform at their cafe. So I was like, I've just been fired, I'm getting another job, so why not do this? So I started doing gigs, and from cafes I went on to perform at cafe bars and then clubs, and I did like unplugged, cover gigs before the whole independent thing took off. So meanwhile, I was also writing a lot of songs. I was producing my first single while I was, doing shows in Indore, in Bhopal, and a couple of more cities. So during that time, I feel like once, I mean, honestly, with Indian parents, I've seen a, pattern. Once they start seeing that, something is actually generating money, they start to take it more seriously. And I feel like that's what sort of, shifted my whole thing. Because like my mom was always, very supportive. She was like, तू कर देखो जो करना है, because मेरा दिल उसमें लग रहा है, तो जिसमें दिल लग रहा है वही करो. And that is just माँ की ममता, because like no matter what your son does, he's always right, because he's your आंखों का तारा. So that was there. And it was quite, difficult to get my dad around. And once the money started coming in, even though like it was like very less, because that scene is just taking advantage of all the artists. And whatever money was coming, like, he was quite happy that I'm actually, making money and doing something that I'm happy about, and I'm very sincere towards it. That's when the respect started coming in. And I think the full support came in when I had released like a couple of songs, and a bunch of his friends, called him up and told him, "अरे तुम्हारे बेटे का गाना तो काफी सही लगा मुझे." And that's when he was like, हाँ तो मैं ही तो बोलता हूँ उसको ऐसे गाने बनाने को, मैं ही तो उसको
Oh,
ऐसा advice देता हूँ. And I was like, bro, that
what?
didn't happen at all. That never happened.
Oh,
So yeah, now he's bragging everywhere. Now he's super. कि मेरा बेटा बहुत he's the best. I'm teaching him. I'm guiding him कि ऐसे गाने बनाओ. She never does. I'm completely ratting him out. But yeah, so that's
it's
how I sort of gained their trust, and yeah, that's happening. But coming from a city like Indore, I feel like in Indore there's just the culture is just so I don't think there's any culture here. Like the independent music scene here is just non-existent at this point. Because everyone from Indore wants to move out to a city like a Bombay or a Delhi, and where there's more work, where there's work that is actually gonna get them at some pace. Because everyone getting work here is only singing other people's songs, even if they have say 20 songs that they put out, they are only doing gigs that are making them sing like Bollywood songs or music that is not theirs. I feel like I from a city like Indore, a lot of talent moves to a city like Bombay, and I think that's fair. But I sort of found my place in the scene through Instagram, through my content, through the songs that I put out, and it was not really difficult for me to do that because I was honestly I was enjoying making all of the content that I did and I was posting. Because I always look at posting content as like an exercise. I don't look at it as a task that I have to do. So it comes naturally. I don't really crib about it. I don't really have to you know मैं बिल्कुल एल्गोरिदम को कोसता नहीं हूँ कि oh shit it's not working. I'm just enjoying what I'm doing. I'm just enjoying what I love to do. So all of it just happened naturally. I found an audience that was interested in what I had to say. Then I put out my first song, and I kept making more content. Then you know, got my second song, which was like a big collaboration with Lost Stories, and through that collaboration, a lot of eyes were on me, and I got a few more opportunities, few more collaborations, and I think that's how it all panned out. So I was just doing what I love to do anyway. So it just all came to place, and basically I just worked my ass off, and I got where I wanted to get. I guess.
I remember the first time you and I we sort of connected during the pandemic was when you shared Parchaiyon Mein with me.
Yeah.
And I remember writing a mini review about it, for the company I used to work then, for the publication I used to
Mm-hmm.
work then. And since then I have only seen how you have, very organically, and it's not even from a place where you are actively seeking out this. Somehow the opportunities just kept coming your way one after the other. And then I think it also, I mean, somewhere all of it, it it all translated to you touring around the country. I think for a lot of shows you have opened for the Yellow Diary. So
Yes.
they have been right now I see that you share a very great equation with them. You are like the young lad amongst them, and they I saw a video where everyone was just pulling your cheeks.
Yeah.
But it was very cute. But how have these experiences, for of firstly touring alongside Yellow Diary on to different cities, and secondly being in their presence, because clearly they weigh up a little above in terms of experience and in terms of exposure.
Yes.
What have you learned from your interactions with the Yellow Diary and with other artists around you, and what how what have you imbibed from them that you think that you can sort of inculcate within yourself, not just as a musician but also hopefully as a performer, when as in when you take to the stage?
Yeah. So firstly, um I share a very, brotherly relation with all of the boys. I was anyway gonna bring it up. It's like they're my favorite people, and I just love hanging out with them. Even like getting to, open for them is a bonus. I just love hanging out with them in general. So like props to my team, Sharkening. Because like both of us, like the Yellow Diary and I, have the same management, the same team. So it was quite easy to plan it all out, and it was not a hassle. And they were also very accepting of me being their opening act. It's like obviously they have a lot of other options to look at, but since we already share a bond before this whole thing came around, it was quite easy to also have me on board with them for the tour. So a big shout out to my team Sharkening for doing that and for making that tour possible. And with the boys, I feel I've learned I've learned 90% of the things that I do now is before going on tour. I had a very different, uh, way of working, way of performing, and the way I used to look at touring. It was completely different. I was coming from a place where I was doing club shows. I was performing, cover gigs, and there was a 2 year break, and then I got into the live scene again. So the most important lessons that I've learned from them is to take care of yourself during the tour, because the whole rush of getting to perform sometimes takes over your sanity, and you sometimes just completely ignore your well-being. And all of the artists that I've had the experience of talking to have told me that they barely sleep during the tour. I think it was like I think I was the only one who was doing that, who was not getting to sleep because of the early morning flights, and then the sound checks, and then coming back and getting like 2 hours of sleep before the show, and then getting ready and straight to the stage. But I feel like this is very universal at this point, and the most important thing that I've learned from them is to take care of yourself during the tour, and make sure you're eating on time, you're sleeping before the flight, you're sleeping during the flight, you're sleeping when you don't have the sound check. So sleep in the green room if you have time. That's the most important thing I've learned, because during the first couple of shows, during the sound check, when I was not sound checking, they were. I was just at the venue. I was just chilling, like where I should have been sleeping, where I should have caught up on that rest so that I can give a good performance. I didn't do that, and Stuart, who is the bassist for the Yellow Diary, once he came down from the sound check, he sat me down and he told me, you should have been sleeping. You shouldn't have come here. You shouldn't have spent 2 hours here when you could have slept those 2 hours and been well rested and given a more powerful performance than you are gonna give now. And I took it with a salt, and I was like, okay, he's telling me this from his experience. And I'm like, okay, I'll do that now. So one is that, and the other thing is that as a performer, it is very important. Like it's a very internal thing that you want the crowd to like you. You want the crowd to sing everything. You get the thunder.
Oh, that was wild.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah, it was crazy.
yeah.
So I was saying, you want the crowd to vibe with you. You want the crowd to sing everything uh, back to you, and you want the crowd to dance with you, and all of that. But you know, as a performer, it's very important to give your best while you're at it, not worrying about whether or not they're gonna dance or sing it back. Because sometimes when you're chasing that thing, because sometimes when you're chasing, you want to make people dance and you're dancing on stage as well. And in doing that, you sort of sing badly. So, okay, sorry. So that thing happened, and I was like, okay, now this is important. You need to be a good performer. You need to give out your best. It'll automatically translate. Everyone will automatically vibe. Everyone will automatically connect to you. It's not important that you're always going to make them dance. It's fine if sometimes they don't dance, because you're a new face to them. They don't know your music. You're here to introduce yourself. You're here to play your music to them. You're here to tell them your stories, and how they connect to it is their point of view. You're not the, you can't judge that. You can't make that happen. So that's one thing that I learned from them. And honestly, it's been fun only. It's been 90% fun, and I it's like I'm going on a vacation with friends with just bare minimum sleep, and just getting to do what I love and then come back home. It's like obviously having great food at in different cities and stuff like that. So, yeah.
But is there something about the business that you have learned, Ashwin? A little before we conclude, where I just have about the last two questions. But
Mhm.
now that you are in the business and you kind of are exposed to, how things are running around you,
Mhm.
how people are functioning in different ways. Has there been a myth about making music, or has there been a myth about the business that you weren't aware of, but it has sort of been demystified for you now?
I feel like there was this whole thing before getting into the scene that not everyone can make it, because I think a lot of people who don't know about the business side of music think that only people who have certain labels backing them, or certain companies backing them, only those people can making, only people from money are making it. But it's not true. I think there's a place for everyone in the scene right now, and that's something that I did not know. I was like, okay, I'll have to really work my way up. I'll have to really prove to people that I'm someone. I think I think good work is being appreciated. So that was a myth that was busted for me. I thought, you know, just having talent, just being good at what you are, just being skilled is not enough. And that was something that, was really surprising to me when I entered the scene. I was like, okay, people are appreciative of someone who's doing something different. People are looking at things, and people are looking at writers who are writing differently, and they are reaching out to them and asking them to write for them. So this is something that I was quite surprised about, and I'm really glad that the scene is changing and how. So yeah, that is one thing.
So, do you have any favorites among your contemporary singer-songwriters that you really admire? I know you share a great bonhomie with Shikhar, who is also a fellow MPite. He's from Bhopal. I
Yeah.
know these constant Bhopal versus Indore city wars that keep happening between both of you on a very friendly note. Of it's a very friendly banter out there, and I sort of find it very cute. But do you have contemporaries from the music scene that you appreciate? And when you aren't particularly working upon your music, you love listening to them in your spare time?
I have quite a lot of people that I really look up to in the scene. One of them is Rashmi Kaur, who is also in the same management with the same team and everything. I love her music. I love the Yellow Diary, and all of the boys that are doing their separate things. Rajan's putting out his own solo stuff. I'm always looking forward to that. Also like the Monsoon stuff. Shikhar is one of my really, close friends at this point, and we worked on a lot of songs together. He's yeah, love you, Shikhar. So I've had him play a lot of guitar parts for a lot of my songs. I think most of my songs he's played guitars on, and I really like his stuff. I'm always looking forward to his music. And Akhil Sani, I don't know if you know of him, and Sumanshu Kimera. Yeah, all of these people are like my brothers, and these are the first people that hear my music. So once I'm done making it, once I've had the mix, I send it to them. Sometimes I send them the demos. When I'm not working on my own stuff, I prefer not to listen to a lot of songs that are sort of in the same zone as me, because I feel like unknowingly I sort of borrow a lot of things if I'm writing something. Even if it sounds a little bit similar, I completely scrap off the idea and I don't work on it. It's just a bad habit, I guess. So that thing. But like when I'm listening to their songs, I'm listening with like completely unbiased, non-musician point of view. I'm just listening to their music to enjoy it. I don't ever judge their music. These are the
But
people
are
who
you
I'm
all
really
able
trying.
to give each other constructive feedback? Not necessarily because you all are friends. I mean, sometimes it's a very fickle profession. People often just okay, say nice things, about your work, because oh, they know you, and they're just nice and sweet
Mhm.
about it on your face, even if they don't mean it. But do you think that you've reached that sort of you've reached that sort of a place where with your friends where you can actually gauge constructive, objective feedback about what you do?
Oh,
And
100%, 100%. Sorry, you're saying something.
yeah, I'm saying that it's coming from a genuine place, and it's because they want to see you push your limits, and not because because I mean it's not an indulgent exercise.
Um, I think it's always been very supportive, and I feel like I've never had someone tell me that it's a great song and not tell me what's wrong with it. And I've always welcomed it with all of these people. They've never been sugarcoating. They've never sugarcoated anything. And like for example, Sumanshu, who is a music producer and he also mixes his own stuff. So I seek out like advice from him if the mix is sounding I seek out like mixed advices from him. If I'm sending him something, I value his feedback because I know he's worked and he has the experience and he has those ears that hear something that I obviously can't sometimes. So one of them is Sumanshu. I also have Akhil who listens to everything I send him. I think he listens to the voice notes and then how the voice notes evolves into a song and all of the demos, all of the mixes, all of the masters. So he hears everything and he's tired at this point. But I have a bunch of those people who I send out songs to for constructive criticism. And I'm just blessed to never have encountered someone who's sugarcoating anything. So yeah, and if I am getting the vibe that someone is just saying it and that they don't really mean it, I directly ask them if they actually think what they're saying. So I mean, I directly ask them if they're being honest or not. I'm when I send out my songs to people, I'm like, bro, please be honest. I want your review. I want you to be honest. No sugarcoating, no bullshit. So that's how it comes out.
Well, Ashwin, you're just as sweet as you are as you come across on Instagram, and I'm sure you're going to go a long way. Naya, more and more Naya Jahans in the making. May
Thank you so much.
you know the world of opportunities is limitless, and here's hoping that your music and your journey finds its destination. But thank you so much, Ashwin, for speaking to me, and here's wishing you the best always.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much. Really sweet.